Welcome to Valuation of Bonds, Part 3. This is the third in the series of 5 videos on valuation of bonds. This is problem 720 from the fundamentals of corporate finance. We are going to compare the effect of interest rate changes on two bonds. We have bond J with a lower coupon rate, whereas bond K has a higher coupon rate. The par value of bond J is $1,000 and the par value for bond K is also $1,000. Bond J has a coupon rate of 3% paid semi-annually, whereas bond K has a coupon rate of 9% paid semi-annually. The yield to maturity on bond J is 6%, and the yield to maturity on bond K is also 6%. Both bonds mature in 19 years. So we can see that coupon rate is the only difference between the two bonds. We need to calculate the current price of the bond, the price when the yield to maturity rises by 2%, so it'll be rising to 8%. The change in price when the yield to maturity drops by 2% from 6% to 4%. Here we have the initial timeline of bond J. The par value is $1,000. The coupon payment is 3% of the par value, or $30 annually, which comes out to $15 semi-annually. We are going to discount the cash flows by 6%, which is the yield to maturity initially. Let's calculate the price of the bond now. We are going to start by clearing the time value of money worksheet. We have 19 years left to maturity, which means 38 semi-annual periods. So we set n equals 38, press 38 and then hit n. Our yield to maturity is 6%. The payment is $15. The par value is $1,000. This is the face value or the future value. And we need to make sure that we set payments per year equals 2 because we have 2 coupon payments every year. Now we calculate present value. So here we have the price of the bond with the yield maturity of 6% to be $662.61. We repeat the financial calculator steps to find the present value by discounting the cash flows by 8%, which represents a rise in the yield to maturity of 2%. The present value comes out to $515.80. We repeat the calculator steps to find the present value by discounting the cash flows by 4%, which represents a drop in the yield to maturity of 2%. The present value comes out to $867.80 this time. Now here we have the timeline for bond K. The par value is $1,000. The coupon payment is 9% of $1,000, which is $90 or $45 paid semi-annually. To find the present value, we are going to discount the cash flows by 6%, which is our initial yield to maturity. And we can see that this bond matures in 19 years or 38 semi-annual periods, as did bond J. With the values in this table, we find the price of the bond to be $1,337.39. By changing the discount rate to 8%, we find the price to be $1,096.84. This is the price of the bond when interest rates rise by 2%. In the final calculation, we change the discount rate to 4%. We find the price to be $1,661.02. This is the price of the bond with a 2% drop in interest rates. Going back to bond J, when the interest rates rose by 2%, the price dropped to $515.80, or by 22.16%. When the interest rate fell by 2%, the price increased from 662.61 to 867.80, or by 30.97%. For bond K, a 2% rise in interest rates resulted in the price drop of 17.99%, and a 2% drop in interest rates resulted in the price increase of 24.20%. We can see that bond J with the lower coupon rate is more price sensitive to interest rate changes than bond K. That brings us to the concept of interest rate risk. This is the risk that bondholders face from fluctuating interest rates. The interest rate risk depends on how sensitive a bond's price is to interest rate changes. All other things being equal, the lower the coupon rate, the greater the interest rate risk, as in bond J. Bonds J and K both have the same maturity of 19 years and the face value of $1,000. Bond J has lower cash flows early in its life compared to bond K, so it's more volatile. In other words, bond J has a lower present value in its early years, and so it's more volatile. Conversely, we can say a bond with a higher coupon rate has a larger cash flow early in its life, so its present value is less sensitive to changes in the discount rate, as in bond K. So in summary, we can say that bonds are sensitive to interest rate changes. When interest rates rise, bond prices fall. When interest rates fall, bond prices rise. Assuming everything else is the same, a bond with lower coupon rate will be more sensitive to interest rate changes than a bond with higher coupon rate. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful, and your comments and suggestions are welcome.